It has been lovely seeing all the suggestions for our summer songs of praise and hearing some of them already on our website and on Facebook. But what do the hymns "To God Be the Glory," "Blessed Assurance," and "Safe in the Arms of Jesus" have in common? Well done if you knew they were all written by Fanny Crosby. I hadn't heard of her till just a few years ago, but she wrote many of the best-loved hymns in the world, and almost every hymn book contains some of her hymns. Blessed Assurance was written when a friend, Phoebe Knapp, was playing the tune one day, and Fanny walked into the room. Phoebe asked, "What does this tune say to you?" And clapping her hands, Fanny said, "It says, 'Blessed assurance, Jesus is mine.'" And then and there she wrote the words to the song. Not all of her songs were immediately popular. "To God Be the Glory" was published in 1875, but not noticed until the 1950s when it was used by Billy Graham. Fanny Crosby was totally blind from the age of 6 weeks, but her mother insisted she be raised as normally as possible, and she was involved in activities that all sighted children enjoyed. Climbing trees and playing with other children, despite the dangers of these activities to someone who couldn't see. So she became very independent in finding her way about through life. By age 10, Fanny had memorized the first 4 books of both the Old and New Testament, and she had to learn everything from other people reading to her. When Fanny was 15, her mother learned about the work being accomplished for students in New York at the Institute for the Blind, and her mother enrolled her at the school. She remained at the Institute for 23 years, 8 years as a student and then 15 years as a teacher of English and history. Fanny left the Institute in 1858 and she married Alexander von Alstein, who was also blind and an accomplished musician, and composed the music to several of Fanny's hymns during their 40-plus years of married life. Fanny and her husband made a large amount of money in that time, and guided by a generous spirit, they gave most of it to the poor and needy and only retained enough money to provide for their basic needs. Although in earlier life Fanny wrote many secular songs, at the age of 40 she began to write hymns. She wrote so many wonderful hymns and songs, at one time signing a contract with a publisher to write 3 songs a week for a year. And what wonderful hymns she wrote. How could someone blind from the time they were a tiny infant express in such beautiful everyday language, such clear, joyful, optimistic and thankful thoughts based on the Word of God? She accepted her blindness as a gift from God, rather than something to be angry or discontented about. When discussing her blindness, Fanny said, "It seemed intended by the blessed providence of God that I should be blind all my life, and I thank him for the dispensation. If perfect earthly sight were offered to me tomorrow, I would not accept it. I might not have sung hymns to the praise of God if I had been distracted by beautiful and interesting things around me." Fanny's acceptance of her loss of vision and her understanding of God's purpose with her throughout this affliction is a wonderful example to each of us. I'm sure we can all learn from her, and we're going to sing now hymn 561, Blessed Assurance.